Hello, everyone. I'm Janet Anderson. I call to order the Town of Lewisboro Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, October 21st at 2025 at 7:29 p.m., 7:30. The exit for everyone here, the exit is the way you came in. These exits to my left are for emergency only. And I just want to mention that in order to comply with the open meetings law, we must meet in person. We in the planning board do not have the capacity for the public to attend by Zoom, nor can we really stream our meetings to YouTube, but we will post a audio recording of this meeting to the town website, and materials considered at this meeting are available in the agenda packet, which is posted for this meeting. Members of the public can always make their views known either by mail or by sending an email to planning@lewisborony.gov. Kirsten Conrad, our planning board administrator, has confirmed that the meeting has been duly noticed. Legal notice requirements have been fulfilled. Joining me tonight from the town of Lewisboro are my other members of the planning board, Paul Fusco, John Guzmano, Charlene Indelicato, and Bruce Thompson. We have a quorum, and thus we can conduct the business of the board and vote on any matters that come before us. Also here are Jan Johannesson from KSCJ Consulting, Counsel Judd Siebert from Keenan Bean, the planning board administrator, Kirsten Conrad, the building inspector, Kevin Kelly. I do not see anyone from the CAC here. If they join later, we'll welcome them. Okay, so with that, first item on the agenda is calendar number 06-17PB, calendar number 43-23WP, and calendar number 18-23SW. This is the Wolf Conservation Center, Buck Run, South Salem, New York. We are reviewing minor modifications to the resolution granting site development plan, a special use permit, wetland permit, and town stormwater permit approvals dated January 21st, 2025 for private nature preserve, and potential amendment of the conditions of the approval of the subdivision plat. So I think first we should probably maybe get the subdivision plat done first, if that's all right with you. Because we discussed that in September. At that time, we agreed that we should have a resolution for the subdivision, and it has been prepared and distributed to the board. So I think that's Jan, you did that. Do you want to just hit the highlights of that?
It's amended final subdivision plat approval, amending the planning board's subdivision resolution. The original resolution included two conditions that the applicant wishes to eliminate. One is prior to the signing and filing of the plat. One is to eliminate the condition that all outside agency approvals be required prior to the filing of the plat. And the second is that the site development plans, special use permit plans be signed simultaneously with the plat. So that this resolution eliminates those two conditions and waives the public hearing.
Right. So, and we really did discuss that at our last meeting. This resolution documents the things that we came to. So I'd look for a motion to approve the subdivision approval resolution as just described.
I so move.
And, Bruce beat you
Bruce
to the
can
second.
do
I
it,
was
fine.
looking that way.
That's fine.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, one done. So now, yes, over to you.
Okay, so thank you, and thank you for accommodating us. This is a matter that we also presented to you last month as well. We, formally submitted application materials for your consideration. Essentially, what we're looking to do is to make some minor modifications to the approved site plan, which are as a result of discussions and requirements from the Department of Health in connection with the approval of the septic. our civil engineer from Bibbo Associates, Matt Gironda, can speak to you in more detail about what those modifications are, but they are minor in nature. As a result of those minor modifications, our site disturbance is now greater than 5 acres, and it requires a phasing plan with TEP. So that's really what the change encompasses, given that we're putting in a traditional septic system in the area of where the formerly proposed composting toilets are. We're eliminating those composting toilets. So I don't want to belabor it with you this evening. Matt is here, and he can talk to you about more details, and we very much appreciate your accommodating us on your calendar.
Okay, so I think you did go through it last month. Does anyone have any questions that they want to go into in more detail?
No.
Okay, we have a resolution, and I just wanted to mention that we had a resolution distributed to the board. It was slightly amended to say, instead of just to comply with the conditions in the planning board's January 21, 25 resolution, that the words and as previously extended by the planning board got added to the one, so that came out late today.
Bottom of page 3,
Yeah.
for the resolve clause.
Right, so if you, but that, other than that, the resolution remains the same. Again, Jan, do you want to step through it?
Yeah, it's a simple resolution amending your special use permit, your site development plan, your wetland permit, your stormwater permit for new septic systems to be installed at 3, 4, and 7 Buck Run, a system in the vicinity of the camping pods at 7 Buck Run, the elimination of the composting toilets. That building will now have a conventional toilet room, will have a conventional septic system, or tied to a conventional septic system. It runs through the few kind of land disturbance changes that are very similar to the prior approval. There was a net reduction in the amount of cut by 350 cubic yards, a slight increase in land disturbance by 0.7 acres from 4.8 to 5.5 acres. That's the trigger for the phasing plan as part of the SWIP. Disturbance to slopes greater than 15% increased by 0.3 acres, and it's the same number of trees to be removed. That didn't change. So that's identified in the resolution. The SWIP has been resubmitted to include a phasing plan, a very detailed one. We did have some minor comments. We have a memo that went out with the resolutions. There's some comments that can be addressed prior to the signing of the plans. And it's all the conditions specified in the original resolution will carry through with this. It's just modifying the plan set, basically.
Right. Did you want to add anything? You've had a chance to review the resolution, right?
Yes.
Okay.
May I make a statement?
Yes.
Although it appears that we're doing 2 resolutions fairly quickly, it should be noted for the record that the Wolf Center has been, ever since I was appointed to the board, in front of us. And they have been very accommodating and listened to our issues and things that we were concerned with. So, on that note.
Yeah, and quite responsive.
Yes.
And I guess just the fact that it is calendar number 0617, so that's
Okay.
2017. It's been, that we know that
In
we,
this iteration.
In this iteration, that's right.
2002.
I know. And if this ever happens, we won't get to see you anymore. But, okay, so I'd look for,
I'll make a motion that we accept the amended resolution.
okay,
I'll second.
seconded by Paul. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great.
Thank you so much. We are very grateful to every one of you, and we look forward to the groundbreaking.
As we all do,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Good night. All right, let me just sign this.
Can I wear my Wolf Center shirt now?
Yeah. Okay. So if you would pass that over to Kirsten. Okay, the next item on the agenda is just a site visit report. This is for the calendar number 21-25 WP. This is Cole and Sarah residents at 34 Old Pond Road in South Salem. It's an application to replace a one-story garage with a two-story car garage with an office and powder room above. So this is just a report on a site visit that occurred on October 18th, 2025. In attendance at that site visit were Jill and Jordy, Jill Caldwell and Jordy Sarah, as well as Bob Eberts, their architect. From the planning board, joining me were John Guzmano and Charlene and Delicato. And from the CAC were Sally Frank and Thomas Bukwowski, which I might have right. So we met at the driveway. The current garage is intact and overlaps some of the area of the proposed garage. The location of the proposed garage was outlined with yellow tape on the ground. In response to the discussion at our September meeting, the proposed garage had been pulled back from the wetland by approximately 7 to 10 feet. We noted that the wetland edge was a dug channel or swale rather than a kind of fully depressed wetland. And this was obviously a previously disturbed area. We noted the angle of the garage versus a tree that's sort of in front of one of the, would be sort of in front of one of the bays. And we looked at the access to the garage to kind of assess whether it was feasible. The homeowners feel comfortable that they can get in and out without a problem. We looked at the location of the proposed rain garden. We discussed some other mitigation possibilities because the homeowners had already removed some invasive barberry multiflora rose, had native plantings installed and more planned along the driveway. And they also mentioned that they had installed a native seed mix planted along the north side of the cut channel that runs on the way to the water. We went out to the lake and then walked the access drive that is to the north edge of their property to the lake. While we did note some defined water paths in the channel, we didn't really see any bare earth. The homeowners reported that the water flowed well there, and the pipe that kind of went under that path was functional. So that was really our report. I think that a sort of separate matter was that the homeowners did show us the excavation where the town really clears out the discharge from the catch basin. And the area at the end of this pipe appeared to have been cleaned out recently and was just sort of bare exposed soil. So while this doesn't appear to be connected to the proposed garage, we might want to mention that to the highway, to Jan, and just kind of say if you're out there and see something that could be done to stop that erosion into the wetland, that would be a good thing. Does anybody who was there have anything to add to that?
No, that problem is totally
Yeah, that was,
unconnected.
Yes,
that's
okay.
more the highway department's.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think that, I think I appreciate the fact that they've moved it in response to our last meeting, and I think it, to me, you know, and
I'm okay
we'll
with
get to
going.
see, I mean, I think it's a good piece. So I believe they are going to the ZBA on the, is that tomorrow? Maybe, ZBA soon.
Tomorrow.
I think it is tomorrow. In November?
Sorry, I'm Jill Powell, architect, was talking about November.
November, okay, but they're going to go to the ZBA at some point. So, but I think the issues that we have are pretty,
Answered.
you know, apt to be well addressed by this. Yes,
Just because I did go out.
Oh, you went out, right.
Today. And regarding that tree, that's entirely up to them what they want to do about that tree, correct? I mean,
Yes, yes. The reason to bring it up is I didn't want it,
We had concerns.
we had concerns that if they move, the next person would just, cut it down, and if it could be angled better. But it does appear that it's maneuverable, that there are trees and
we
garages
maneuvered
around.
around them.
Yeah, we did. We went around them. So it's not the kind of impediment that I feared by looking at it on the plan.
Okay, I just was thinking, anything in our approval doesn't say anything one way or another about that tree, correct? That's my concern.
No, we were
Okay.
concerned with them rotating the garage because we had asked to look at that. And then the tree became a player because of that, and it really isn't at this point, now that we've seen it.
Yeah, it looks fine. Okay. I think that's basically it. Okay.
We moved this to administrative?
Well, so we don't really have it on as a thing. I don't know whether we could move it to administrative, and the ZBA hasn't voted yet.
The
Right.
ZBA, yeah.
So we have to wait till their
I
feedback.
would go through the ZBA proceedings before.
Right, that's why I was kind of asking when that was happening. Okay. So that's it, so thank you. The next item on the agenda is calendar number 02-25 PB, Tacona Katina at Golden's Bridge Village Center, New York State Route 22, Golden's Bridge, New York. This is an application for a change of use from a beauty shop to a full-service restaurant as the existing restaurant expands.
Hi all. How are you?
Hi.
Your name for the recording, please.
Oh, David Chong from Tacona Cantina owner.
Thank you.
I have the business plan here, which I should email to everyone. I have 10 copies if you'd like it.
You make sure you get it to Kirsten,
Okay.
email it to her, and then, I mean, you can hand it out if you've printed it,
Yeah.
just,
I have a couple,
yep.
I think 10. I don't know.
Thank you.
Nothing like a little reading after yesterday's
Thank you.
AWS freezing of,
Yeah, that took a lot of people.
So I do owe you the site plan. I believe I did receive some comments, but basically what I'm doing is taking over next door the Bella's Hair Salon, which is about 570, 500 square feet. And we're out of space at Tacona as far as storage goes. We do everything, we prep everything fresh. So it's, we have an incredible amount of to-go and delivery, so the area will be cold storage and also to house a lot of the to-go paraphernalia. Oh, yeah. It's funny how business dropped off yesterday because of all the ordering apps were down.
Yep.
It's just unbelievable. Yeah.
Wow.
People were calling in.
Yeah.
But they're not used to that.
Right, and they can't see the menu.
Oh, I have menu too.
Right.
If you need that.
No,
But
I
he's-
meant they can't, I've seen your menu, but anyway,
I hope.
yeah,
And so it's going to be an extension of the restaurant. There'll be 2 entrances, so that'll be free-flowing.
do you, it appears that there's a counter with seats at it. Do you also plan tables in there?
The idea is to put more shelving on the wall that's the common wall to actually house some of our, we have chilies and we make our own masa for tortillas and tamales and gluten-free empanadas. So
Okay.
right now, all the chilies that we use, we go through 50 pounds of chilies every week. They're just sitting in the back.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to bring them out and put them in glass jars and showcase that. So hence the counter is just literally 15 feet of shelving, so it could really show all that. Because right now, we're just so crowded.
Right.
The
So,
health department had a great idea. They said, why don't you put in a soda gun? And I said, that would alleviate a lot of the bottles that we have, because I refuse to put the stock in front of the bathroom or in front of the exits like I see, so I just keep it at home.
right. Okay, so but it sort of looks like one setup could be that the restaurant will stay there and it's sort of a bar area, or is that the takeout area, sort of, how?
Oh, no, it'll be fully functional. It'll be bar, you can sit down and have a meal there.
Okay,
The niches that are on there will be TVs. So you need the space to be cohesive rather than just a huge walk-in box, if you will.
okay,
So we repurposed the bathrooms. The bathroom that was in Bella's, we are going to remove that, and that'll be refrigeration. Sort of that whole back area that was her washing station.
okay. So, I think, Jan, you had a memo on this that said that it should be referred to Westchester County. I think Kirsten already did that.
Change of use permit from the health department.
Right, so that, go ahead.
Where do you stand with the health department?
She just needs updated plans because she mentioned the soda gun. So you're going to have a soda gun. I said, I didn't even think of that. So we're going to do that. She needs updated plans. And
Are you doing another sign, any signage in front of the building, or just you using
no,
the same sign?
I believe it'll be the same, but if we do, then we'll
Adler.
apply for that.
Okay. The parking was the same as the prior use, so there's no issue with the parking. Provided the updated business plan, which looks good.
But you need the large scale.
Yeah, you did it, I think, on the prior application, you had a nice little
Yes.
consent plan. That's it.
Okay.
No other comments.
Yeah, that might have been my fault, because I was kind of looking, and I said, I looked at the old plan, which has this thing back and then the new one, I said, there's a gap. And Jan pointed out that the post office still has space in between that,
Yes.
so.
Oh, goodness, yes.
So I think that's the reason for that.
Jeff was kind enough to give me a tour of the back. It's amazing how big it is. He even has an office to the left. So it's a big area.
Okay, so I think what we want it sounds like things are pretty close except for that. So I think we can agree to waive the public hearing and.
Yeah, what you would do is request the preparation of a resolution
Right,
that would both waive the site plan requirements, including public hearing, and grant the change of use site plan.
right. So if everybody's okay with that. I mean, this seems like a good use. I'm happy to see that you are successful, except for when, there's a internet outage, but other than that, do we make a motion for that, or do we do consensus? So it sounded like we have consensus to ask Jan to prepare a resolution for next month.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Great.
great.
Thank you.
All right, and do email that one thing to Kirsten, so she gets it, okay?
Have a good evening.
Great,
Thanks.
thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is calendar number 03-25PB. This is the field solar array at 59 Todd Road in Cantona, New York, an application for a ground-mounted solar array. Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamie Glover. That are the applicants, Mr. and Mrs. Fields. Thank you for having us. So we are applying for a ground mount solar system that would be used for net metering for the building. If you're not familiar with the word net metering, it's for their own consumption. It's not a commercial farm. It's not meant to be sold as a solar farm, but to offset their consumption. It's a beautiful field. I think, I know some members were there over the weekend looking at it. I think it was more of the zoning department. So I just wanted to outline what we're proposing. If I could step over here.
Of course.
So their house is probably about 500 to 600 feet off the main road. There are sister neighbors that are within the proximity, and we did a mailing addressing this point. The whole issue is that you want to put a solar system where it has the best chance to perform, right? So what are the things? You want to have a good tilt, a good orientation, and we love trees, but trees are a deterrent to the production.
Right.
So if you look at this footprint, which is a huge, I think it's, how many acres?
16.
16 acres. There's the house, and the only possible location is in this meadow. And there's lots of great advantages to the fact that it's in this meadow. It's facing south. There's no wetland issues. There's no wetland buffer issues. There's no trees in the way. There's a stream, but it's behind the house. And it's a perfect location, except for one item. It's considered the front of the house. By default, and I've been doing ground mounts since 2010, we're a woman-owned business, a ground mount system is considered an accessory structure, and your laws prohibit an accessory structure in the front of the house. So we're pleading hardship because it really is the only viable location for this to succeed. Some advantages of having it besides the solar production, it's also very close to the utility meter. So there's an efficiency standard there. It will get them to net zero. What net zero means is that you take your production of the solar, it's going to offset 100%. And you've all seen how these bills, NYSEG's rates, when I started, was about 9 cents a kilowatt hour. I'm seeing 26 cents right now. They're actually catching up to Con Edison, right? And it's not a good thing when your utility is first in pricing.
Right.
We know with in the future prices are going to be going up, and it's also putting a huge strain on our network, on our utility capability. So the solar is a perfect way of managing that. Not to mention it's green.
Right. So I think we're here really to look, because it is as a tier 2, so we need to do site plan approval. I think this is pretty benign. I did try to look at the topo of the other houses. I think there's sort of either hills and trees, it looks like, between.
Yes. Yep.
So very few can see it. So I think,
A picture's worth 1,000 words.
okay.
This is the zoomed in of our house.
Okay.
And this is the whole neighborhood. This is without trees, this with trees. So our house was originally put up by a guy who bought all of this property. And he sold off the pieces in front, and he kept the middle insulated piece. So it's a large piece of property, but it isn't completely wooded, and we can't see any of the houses.
Downhill from
Great.
the neighbors.
Okay. I think one of the things in Jan's memo said that he recommended it. I know it's already been to the building inspector because of the front yard issue, but did mention a potential issue with height. I don't know how,
15
just
feet.
more of a question. From the topography maps, it looks like that the solar panels are going on, say, the east side of the house, I think. Right?
East of the house, yes, sir.
And it kind of looked like the topo falls off from the house a little bit. So as you move east from the house, the topo's falling away.
Yes, sir.
So does the panel have to be mounted level, or is it going to go with the
Gotcha.
land? Because if it goes level, by the time you get out to the end of your system, you might be more than the 15 feet required.
Give me 1 second. My eyesight's not that good. Okay, very good. So we are prepared to do some grading in these specific areas. So in the permit package that was submitted, and these are 20-degree tilt.
okay,
In our region, anything in the 20 to 30 degree is wonderful. So the front array will be, excuse me, 1 foot 3 inches, 15 inches above grade. The back side will be 7 foot 3 above grade. I'm 6 foot 3. I was 6 foot 4, but God pushed me down a little bit. So it'll be about a foot higher than myself.
I'm talking the other direction. So that's from the front of the panel to the back. I'm talking
Yeah.
from
East to west?
East to west.
Sure. So the footprint is 15 feet by 51 feet.
Right.
And there's 2 arrays. So you'd have 2 arrays of 15 by 51,
Right.
with a buffer of about 20 feet in between.
But are those arrays, that section, is it level? Or is it going with the slope?
So there is a slight slope going down the hill. So I'd say from the first array to the second array, there's probably a 2.5 foot drop.
And if you go from.
As you go from south,
I'm going east to west.
east to west, no, it's pretty level.
But the topo looks, from the topo
Pretty
maps,
level,
it looks like it falls away pretty good.
It's pretty level.
So I think you have to maybe
Right.
just throw get
You
some
have,
topo in there.
But
Well,
does the-
so I think what we're doing is we're saying that this is something that the building
They need to
inspector
evaluate.
ought to look at. I don't think we're going to answer it here, we'll ask him to look
One
at it.
other thing that can manage this is that 51 feet can be staggered
Well, I
into
think that's
2
what he's
sections.
asking. That's what he's
Yes,
asking.
Yep.
very easily done.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
so you can
Okay.
get around any
We
challenge.
can
that-
So if there is a
That
problem
can
with
be
it.
cut into 3 separate pieces
Okay.
so that it stays in a lower profile, if that's your objective.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the max is 15 feet. At no point can the panel be from grade to the top of the panel 15 feet.
Okay, so we're half that, we're 7 foot 3, and we can take
You can manage
steps to
that.
ensure that if that's in your final law report.
Okay.
Appreciate your opinion. We don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Not a
okay.
problem.
So it's just a question for you.
So I think that what we could, I know you're going to the ZBA tomorrow, right?
Yes.
You are, right?
Yeah, I've
I'm
got
sorry.
my-
Go
my-
ahead.
my
The one
good
thing I
suit for
noted
that.
was, Jan, you had mentioned there's no wetland. They have the stream in the rear.
Yeah, they're way, probably 250 feet away from the street.
Okay, because they had a note that it's 100 feet from the back of the house, and these didn't seem that far in front. But that's fine, you didn't feel we needed,
Yeah, it took a
I
minute.
imagine it was 300 feet or more.
oh, yeah, that's fine, then the
So
maps are just.
we have found an advantage of being in the front of the house.
No, that's good, that's,
Okay.
Tree removal?
So I think I'm looking to say, are we willing to waive the public hearing and ask for a resolution to be prepared for next month's meeting?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Okay, we have consensus? Okay, so Jan, you have some work to do. So next month, we hope we will have a resolution that we can just pass, and I understand you might want to get this done before the tax credits expire, so we are,
There is a clock ticking in the
Right,
back
right.
of our heads, yes. I'm
okay, so
sure
we,
you're all aware of that.
we will try to get that. I hope you have good luck at the ZBA tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wonderful, thank you.
Just from my knowledge, why does it have to wait to the next meeting? Is because you need the ZBA?
We need the ZBA.
the variance?
In other words, the board cannot approve the site plan that has a zoning nonconformity, you're going to need to get that cleaned up by the ZBA before this board can issue the site plan approval.
And I'm a novice at this, but is there any way to get an approval subject to the variance being issued?
We can get the
typically
resolution.
don't, and when we have a zoning nonconformity, that's something we typically do not condition.
Yeah.
It's a separate board.
And besides, we don't have it written, so we can't,
Right.
Sure.
You know, we
Your meeting's
usually-
the 18th of November, by then you'll have the ZBA. You can kind of preload your building permit application. How long do you think the build
So
process?
one thing that I might ask,
Yep.
normally building doesn't do a full review until they have full approvals. If the building department can give me their, their concerns or any modifications I can do pending these approvals, then we can, Thanksgiving, we can hit the tracks running.
right.
Is that doable?
So the building inspector is sitting right there.
Yep.
I think if the ZBA says yes tomorrow, I don't know.
No reason why I wouldn't be able to at least review it, okay?
Right.
Tee it up for you, because you have to have your permit in hand, correct, to get your tax credit?
Technically, you have to have permission to operate from NICEAG. That's the,
Oof.
that's so, but there's a substantial completion covenants that would help us with this, but it certainly has to be up and running by December 31.
How long do you think it's going to take you to build it?
2 weeks? Yeah. So if I had a permit December 1,
He doesn't have to Thanksgiving plans.
No.
the fields have invited us over for Christmas Eve, so we'll be working.
Yeah. Okay, so do you need anything from us to help accommodate this gentleman's requests?
No, I think we're, as long as I have a complete package, the grading that Jan brought to our attention is something we should be looking at. But I think we would be teed up ready, getting it next
Sure.
week.
I'd
Great.
be more than happy to meet you at the site too. We've actually staked it off and measured it.
We could do a pre-site inspection.
Yeah, if that would help. Sure.
Just call Karen in my office and we'll schedule that, okay?
Great. Okay, thank you.
Thank
And good luck. I hope you do get to celebrate New Year with, a lot of stuff done. Okay. Then the next item on our agenda is calendar number 91-19 WP, calendar number 10-19 SW. This is the Kenny residence from 40 Old Pond Road, South Salem, New York. This is a request for an extension of time to the resolutions granting a wetland permit approval and stormwater permit approval dated November 17th, 2020 and December 19th, 2023 for a lakeside residence and cottage. The current expiration dates are May 19th, 2025.
Thank you, everyone, for meeting me tonight. My name is John Kenny. I took over Billy MacArthur's project and wanted to come in and introduce myself. For the wetland and stormwater permits, I put in a request to extend those back in May. And then regarding the building permit, that also expired in September. And I wanted to make some modifications to the building plan. Unfortunately, I did not print out enough copies. However, I just emailed to Kirsten and had requested that she forward it all to you. But I'm going to pass out the ones that I have. So these plans stay within the property setback lines. The variances that were previously approved for the prior project won't be needed with these plans. All the work related to the drainage, the septic, and that stuff related to the permits that I'm asking to be extended would remain the same as was previously approved. So this is the project, and I'm sorry I didn't get it to you in adequate time for you to review prior to this. However, when it comes to the stormwater and wetland permits, I was hoping to have those extended, and ideally I would like to have these be modifications to the current plan and be able to extend the building permit as well that recently expired. And
Okay, so I'm just looking at this. I think, so first of all, this came before the board in 2019, and I don't think anybody except me was on the board at that point, so that this is all new. So asking for an extension at this point with it, especially with, it looks like quite a change on here, right?
yeah, it was it used to have a cottage.
Two structure, yeah.
And now it's
All one.
reduced, the impervious surface has been reduced, it's even further back from the lake than it was. It's now into one rather than two separate structures.
Yeah, so, now this is a board decision.
That's a whole new plan,
Yeah, well, that's
from
kind
what
of,
I'm hearing. I wasn't
that's
here.
kind of what I'm thinking. We're seeing something new. I don't know if, it might be that the stormwater facilities that were previously planned will be adequate, but we don't really know without doing some analysis here.
I understand.
So,
The stormwater regs also changed since it was approved.
Oh.
They were general permit, they never got coverage under the old permits, that would all have to get redone.
I'm thinking what the best thing to do would be to say, bring us these plans and I mean, even the wetland delineation probably has long expired.
I think that delineation is basically the lake edge. There might be
Right.
something up in the woods where the land trust was involved.
A stream coming down the side, I don't vaguely remember.
We can-
But I don't think that's the big part. The big part is really getting,
Has the building inspector seen the new plans?
This is
No.
the first time I'm seeing it.
no, I think, so the other thing so it happened when we went to the site visit, we were at 34 Old Pond, and looked, you could see, from there, you could basically see the house. And they reported that some piece of the house had recently fallen down. They said kids go over there and play all the time. I'm a little concerned about the safety aspect, and I know a lot of trees were taken down, planning to build, but there's still that asphalt driveway that goes zooming down to the lake.
Do you have any plans to secure the area? Because it really does look like an attractive nuisance.
Yeah, I understand. Well, in regards to the current structure, I understand it's probably an eyesore for the community, and I myself would also like to remove it and get it cleaned up. A little reluctant to, that's the fact that if things are expired and I have no plans approved at the time that I demolish a structure, it's just a little nerve-wracking, to be frank.
It's not a matter of demolishing, it's a matter of securing it.
There's a fence that goes to the extent that I can. However, there's a piece, the kids can walk along the cement edge of
The
the
shore,
lake,
yeah.
and I've asked them, I've tried to be polite and just told them, just for their safety, to try not to, and they were very nice and left, but of course I'm not there all the time, so I can't do that. I have no trespassing signs, chains up. I've also
For your own purposes, because insurance-wise,
What do you
doesn't
recommend that I do?
I'm not recommending anything. I'm just saying that you should secure the building because you are responsible legally if
Okay,
anything
but
happens.
how do we get him moving forward? So next step would probably be you need to see a new plan.
Right.
What's going to
I
get
mean,
built.
and this is,
He needs to resubmit.
Resubmit.
Stormwater permit applications with the new set of architectural and site plans.
and one of the ways to help with that is to meet with Jan. So if you set up a meeting, either by, typically by Zoom, to review kind of what's been there and what you need, that would fairly help. The other thing I might ask is, because we did hear from the neighbors about concerns about the safety of this, is maybe to ask, I don't know whether you've been out to see it recently.
The only time I was out there was the kickoff meeting
Previous owner.
So I have a question pertaining to the length of the building permits because, to be frank, I'm not sure when what is the longest amount of time that you would be able to, assuming, I mean, this is all within the setback lines, assuming there were issues with the plan and we were all on the same page, what's the longest amount of time one can have to afford me the ability to prepare my financing to complete the project, in which case I would immediately remove the structure if I was able to get to that point. Any thoughts on how long, is there?
Building
Well,
permits.
a site plan is typically 2 years.
2 years, right.
Our wetland and stormwater permits are 2 years. But I think the building permit, don't you have to start within a certain period after getting a building permit?
Yes, but you can always extend, once you have that permit, you can extend it, and we modified our building permit fee cost for renewals. It's much more economical than it used to be.
Okay.
For a residence, it won't exceed $1,000 max for a renewal, just so you know, which buys you another year. So, I mean, we give you plenty of time.
Okay.
But, you know, I think what everyone would like to see is, as John just said, to see something move here. We would like, it is an attractive nuisance. I know so I'm going to say, you probably have one of the best views on the lake, you know, I mean, it's a gorgeous spot. People, I understand why they want to go there. The fishing is great, da-da-da. But I am concerned about the safety of people that trespass on your property.
I understand.
Okay.
You could potentially get one of those rent-a-fences, you know, and surround the house. You
Okay.
know, and we can meet out there and talk about that as for
Okay.
security reasons. That might be a way to mitigate some of this.
Okay, and assuming, like, how long would it take to know whether the plans that I know you haven't been able to do a deep dive on it, but it is within all the setback lines and everything. How long would it take until I knew to know whether that was approved or not, typically?
Well, you would have to put in a formal application, so
Okay.
we need an
And
application.
how long does the process take from when I submit the application to
It can really vary. I mean, the Poor Wolf Center has been going for years.
Don't use that one as a use.
That's a
Scare the
bad
hell
one.
out of me.
Yeah,
Gentlemen.
I'm sorry?
3 to 6 months.
Thank you.
Just not because it takes that long to review, but there's going to be comments. You're going to resubmit. It's going to take you time and your professionals to prepare those plans. Resubmit. There may be county health department involvement, outside agencies, that type of thing. So, but make sure you have your site civil package updated too, because that was pretty extensive.
Okay.
The architectural is like the last thing this group
Okay.
reviews. It's the site plan package. And the wetland mitigation plan was extensive as well.
I was hoping to be able to maintain that from the
You probably,
previous.
They probably
So
can.
that's why you want to meet with Jan, because he can walk you through what the steps are and what you need to look at.
You just
And
need to
that'll
demonstrate.
start putting it together in your head, so you know what your steps are, what the timelines are, so you can start thinking about financing, you know, your production schedule and all that.
You're not starting from scratch. It's just, we got to make sure that that system will accommodate the new house. It's, obviously, the house is being relocated, so is it on top of previously proposed systems? We don't know. We just have to take a look at all that. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, but I like the idea, I will say that, I mean, first reaction, the fact that you're moving back from the lake, that you're making it all one structure
Okay.
is positive.
And also, it's not going to need as much of a driveway because it's going to be
Right.
in the top, so there's other.
Yeah, no more.
It kind of simplifies it in some ways, even though it may look, I don't know. so-
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but thank you, and I do appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, and sorry it took me a little while to get here. I don't live in the area, so I
Yeah.
apologize for the delay. And thank you very much
Okay.
for your time, and I'll be in touch, and I'll start working on getting this submitted officially. Thank you.
Perfect.
You will, you should discuss with your architect. The New York State building codes are changing January 1st.
In which way?
energy-wise and more stringent requirements in general, but all state. So we should get his arms around that sooner than later. I would hate to see you start designing this based on the 2020 building code, when we know the 2025 code is, it's coming
All right.
real soon. Just
Okay,
discuss
that's
it with
something
him.
I'll also refer to my architect on a lot of this stuff too. He's gonna know a lot more
Yeah,
than I.
okay.
One quick question is, what are your thoughts on, do you think it would be wise for me to, if the extensions costs are not as much as they used to be, to extend the current plans that are approved with MacArthur all around the board and just buy time on this? Or do you think that's pointless and I should just move forward?
If you have something different in mind, you ought to just
Okay.
do that.
Start
Start again, because that's much cleaner from our point of view. I think it's cleaner.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, good.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate
Sure,
it.
thank you.
Have a wonderful night.
Okay, next item on our agenda is calendar number 08-25WP. This is the Freiburg residence at 110 Mill River Road, South Salem, New York. And this is the application for a pond restoration.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Once again, I'm Gene Nazaro, Nazaro Inc., representing the client. And in the past, we had looked at leaving the material on site, which was determined to be in the floodplain. We've now revised the plan to take all the material off site. So the pond being here, and our access will come right off Old Mill Road. There's a quite easy path coming through over the previous tennis court area. The construction access will be for equipment coming in and hauling material off-site. It will be constructed out of poly mats, 14 feet wide, long 8 feet wide. They lock together, and whatever's required, I own a couple hundred of them, so it's not a problem, to build the road access, minimal disturbance to the ground. From that point of view, same thing happens. We build our coffer dams, prevent the flow coming in, and the backwater coming back into here, dewatering the pond work area itself. That would be control pumps within this, the dirt bag for sediment control, as well as here. Paul had mentioned once before that we had 50-foot boulders demarcation. We've tightened that up to 25 feet. This will be a no-mow area here, and all the activity will come in through this area. One access into the pond, temporary stockpile area. This will be really probably stockpiled for a day, maybe two at the most, loaded onto the trucks and take off. So we put double row silt fence all the way around the area, maintain that with coir logs in between that, siltation area around the pond, around this stockpile area itself. It's really the nature of the job. Nothing's really changed. The biggest change is nothing's being graded on site.
Right, and I think that was really the last piece that was stuck here. So I think we could move this to administratively. I mean, comfortable, and you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, I mean, our only comments were, which they know, you need the DEC wetland permit.
Which I filed for that, did the stormwater application,
Yeah, good.
and did the freshwater, did all the
Yeah.
requirements for that.
We're good with the plan, it was just getting the outside agency approved.
Right, and I think we saw the stormwater application come in today, too. So I would look for a motion to move this to Jan's kind administrative.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we move this to administrative.
Okay,
Second.
seconded by Charlene. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I think this has turned into a pretty good project, so, but I know it's been tough.
Naive question, what is the administrative approval?
So now
Means-
you just work with our office, we're going to issue the permit as soon as you get the DEC permit.
Okay, everything filed with them, they responded to me, and they asked, it was a permit, which was, hang on a sec.
It basically means you don't have to come back to us,
In front of
and
the
you
board.
can talk more quickly with Jan than having to wait for whenever we meet.
It was the short environmental assessment form, which has been filled out and submitted to them as well. So I believe I have everything.
Yeah, so they're going to end up issuing you a permit, you got to forward that out to us and we'll issue our permit.
Be an interesting time frame.
Yeah, I don't know how long it'll be on their end.
Do we need to meet for any reason in the meantime, or?
The only other comment was just quantifying the limits of disturbance.
I'm looking at probably half an acre. Total.
Okay, so
The pond is about 4/10 of an acre,
And then you're.
and this is very small.
And then we do count the construction access.
Okay, well, that's not going to be,
So long as you're under an acre, you're fine.
we are under an acre.
Okay, so you just have to put a boundary line of your work limits on the plan, and quantify it in square feet. And
Okay,
that's one comment, the other one's a DEC permit, that's it.
okay, great. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, and good luck. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the calendar number 19-25 WP, calendar number 10-25 SW. This is the Griffins and Taub residence at 63 Lakeshore Drive, South Salem, New York. An application for a two-story addition.
Good evening. Steve Marino, Tim Miller Associates, representing the applicants tonight. Mr. Rena, the project engineer, I understand has appeared before the board previously to discuss the project. We've received the comments from both the board and from Jan. I believe those comments have been generally addressed in our most recent submission. I'll just go through that really quickly. The proposal is an addition on an existing residence. The addition is about 475 to 500 square feet on the ground footprint within the buffer, within the 50-foot town buffer line.
Is that just the addition to the residence?
There's just
And
addition
then-
to the residence.
okay.
And then there's an existing garage,
Yep.
which is going to be moved several feet off the property line to make it zoning conformant. Not currently zoning, doesn't currently conform to zoning. And then a second story will be added to that as a family room.
Okay.
So the majority of the, as you can see, the disturbance is no closer to the lake than the current structures on the property, but the improvements to the driveway, a portion of which is also in the buffer. The septic system, it's a 3-bedroom house currently and will remain a 3-bedroom house, so we believe we won't have any issues getting through the county, to the health department and the building department regarding the septic system. What we are proposing, in order to capture the runoff from the new structures as well as from the additional area in the driveway, is an in-ground detention system. The original system was designed for the 25-year storm as required in order to capture and treat an additional water that's been expanded to capture now the 100-year storm.
Okay.
We've gone out and re-surveyed the trees on the property just to be sure we are where we are, and it does not appear that any trees on the property will have to be removed in order to accomplish the plan. Right now we're at about 4,000 square feet of disturbance in the buffer, a little over 4,000 square feet, but 3,000, essentially 3,000 square feet of that is for truck movement and installation of the detention structures and final grading of the property, but those are temporary disturbances. Again, as I mentioned, the permanent disturbances will be the addition to the house and minor expansion of the existing garage and driveway. It's just a little easier to see this plan. So there are your limits of disturbance within the buffer. Again, this is really for machine work and staging on site during construction. That will be cleaned up and restored afterwards. Installation of the detention, garage, and addition. We have petitioned the DEC for a jurisdictional determination under the new regulations. Up to this point, they haven't been including large water bodies as part of that, but that plan changes from day to day, so we have...
Just so you know that there's been another project where they indicated they were taking the lake.
So as I was about to say, there you go, you never know. So we have petitioned them. We're in the 90-day window right now that they have to get back to us. I believe December 3rd is our deadline on the 90-day submission. We were proposing plantings plugs, herbaceous plantings along the edge of the lake. As you know, there's I understand there was a site walk, so I guess the board has been out there. It's lawn essentially down to the existing seawall, retaining wall there. So we were proposing some herbaceous plants at the edge of the lake to kind of bring back a little bit of habitat and a little bit of restoration of the pond edge there. However, Jan pointed out in his comment memo, which I was not aware of, is that the lake is drawn down. Do we have any idea how far down the
3
lake
to
is
4
drawn?
feet. 3 to 4 feet.
3 to 4 feet, okay. So we're going to be high and dry there.
Yes, you will.
Okay,
That-
so
It's also treated.
and it's treated, so that would have been, to me, that if it was a few feet or a couple of feet or a foot, I wouldn't have been as concerned about the plantings, but if 4 feet and treatment, we'll have to take another look at how.
Yeah,
what we're gonna
it's
plant along the edge
intentional
there.
to prevent stuff from growing around the
Sure,
shoreline.
of course.
Right.
Yeah, understood.
And sort of when we looked, there wasn't much growing, and we went the site walk, and I kind of feel like if something is going to grow successfully, there's going to be something growing there, already.
right.
So planting, I hate to
Well,
see
yeah,
you
true.
try to plant something where nothing is growing now. So I think Jan's memo did point out that, and I think there's room to plant things right on the shore in a very similar pattern that would be, that would then catch all the stuff that basically just runs.
Right on the wall.
Above the-
On the wall.
Check with my clients to see.
Yeah, but, well, I think you're going to need mitigation, and I hate to see, we ask for things to last for a few years, and if
Right.
you're treating and drawing down,
I don't think
We
that's
weren't
going to
aware of
work.
that until Jan pointed it out. So
Yeah.
otherwise this would not have been our plan. but-
yeah, so I know you're going
But
to need
the,
to check.
The stormwater mitigation has been over-designed.
It's significant,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
that's
going from the 25 to the 100 years.
Which is good.
Which is
I'd
great.
rather see that.
It's very
Yeah.
meaningful mitigation, so I think that maybe something should be done on the shore, on the upland side, but maybe it doesn't need to be the extent if they're
Okay.
looking for some access to the lake.
And there's access issues, there's site and view issues, there's,
Yeah, but it'll be, I would imagine, it'll be low stuff that you
Yeah.
plant there.
Yeah, you don't, you can plant something that disrupts the flow without being,
absolutely.
And that property drops off, so the site.
yeah, they can see it from the top, right. Yeah, so we did have a nice, I think the other question I have, and this is really, I think we have referred to this to the building inspector already, but when we were on the site walk, one of the things, I want Kevin to hear, one of the things that they said was that they were going to put the heat exchangers or the air conditioning to the north of hang that on the side of that building. And I don't know whether that counts as, I don't see it on the plans, I don't see where they're going to be, but whether that counts as a structure in the setback or whether that's,
Permanently affixed to the house. We'd have to see if it would fall under like rakes and overhangs, because it's going to be substantially a lot more than a.
I'm just,
You may need a variance for.
so as you're,
Okay.
I know we did
Unless
refer it to you.
relocate them somewhere else.
The architect is here as well, and maybe you can deal with mechanicals on the outside of the house?
It hasn't been designed up to this point yet, we're just trying to get off the ground. But we will certainly come back if it's in the setback that's not
Right, I think,
regulated.
well, again, it was,
Tom Milano.
I'm sorry. Yeah, when we were on the site walk, they did indicate that they were going to stick it on that side. I defer to you, obviously, but if it is, then it might be an issue for to discuss. Either you'd have to get a setback variance or find a different place for it.
Understood.
Okay? I think that's the only other question I had on this.
Jan pointed out with the plants, so that was my concern mainly. The other one is, well, I love that they're taking 100-year storm for the drainage.
It's great.
And they're not on a tree. It is significantly, these are massive, I think there were oaks and a maple and maybe a tulip or something, or there's some pines there too. And this is a lot of excavation within less than 10 feet of all of the trees.
Within the drip edge, right?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably going to lose all those trees within the first couple of years. I mean, this is, significant
Yeah.
excavation.
I mean, we will be within the drip edge of the trees, we won't be, it'll be a quarter maybe of the drip edge. hoping that we won't necessarily lose the trees from that disturbance.
I think it's just something to be careful, so when looking at the mitigation, I would think maybe, I'd like to see some tree plantings even on the perimeter. I understand the view of the lake, but just thinking about something along that, just kind of to go with the fact that we're not planting in the lake. Maybe some tree plantings just in case. I don't want them to lose, and hopefully save it, but it's a tough area, definitely.
Do you think the larger trees are between the septic and the storm, or at the, on the north end of the storm? So I wonder if you could play with the configuration of the system.
Pipe system, yeah.
Well, it's sort of a knoll there, remember, from the
Yeah,
sidewalk? There's,
These are oaks here, these are red maples in through here.
yeah, so,
You do have a separation distance requirement, 35 feet between the septic and the storm, but probably more than that.
They show 30 on the plan.
Does it say 30? Yeah, it's probably 10.
If it's 30, I'll have to talk to Joe, that is all.
okay, so I think you know what our questions are, right? And you need to do, so I think.
Are we coming back to the board, or are we going to Jan at this point?
It will depend upon whether you need to get a ZBA variance.
Oh, sure.
I mean, so that's.
We're going to do everything, I think, we're going to do everything we can. In fact, we're moving the garage to avoid the zoning.
To avoid, I know.
So I think we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we don't need a variance.
What if they hung off the structure?
Oh, I'm sorry.
They were off the ground.
I don't know, I'd have to,
I have to see how far out.
Projects off the wall.
I've done them like that.
Yeah, I've done it down the Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
And they'll do allowable encroachment up to 5 feet, separation, and 5 for the next door neighbor to get the 10-foot separation under the fire code. So we have to see how close we really are.
Can I get your name as well, please?
yes, because you spoke, sir? Could we-
Matthew Toad.
Matt, yeah, I'm deaf. Sorry.
Thank you.
Almost.
Okay, so, yeah, I mean, I think there's some positives here, and you know what you have to do now, right? So, and so if it's over 1,000 square feet, I know it has to go to the Department of Health. I don't know whether that's footprint or.
1,000 is the trigger. Jan and I were just discussing that. By moving, I'll have another conversation with the health department. If I'm moving an existing house, or an existing garage, that may be a gray area that they can.
Okay, in your hands too.
We will talk to Tony at the health
Okay.
department. See what we'll find out for you.
Okay. Great, okay, thank you. So,
Will I be back or we won't?
well, I think you'll be back, and because we haven't made a motion to send it admin yet,
But
but,
it would be important to kind of work out that AC unit, because if everything is resolved with the planning board, except that, you're not going to be able to move on it.
Right.
Right, so you need to know that there's no variances. This way, things can progress with them, maybe even goes administrative,
Yeah.
and things worked out. Right? We can't get there without.
Understood.
yeah, so that one piece becomes critical.
Can I ask your architect a question?
Yes.
Um,
Can we just say we will make the units accommodating to the zoning setback? So
Yeah,
that
we
we
can
can
do
get
that.
through the
We
wetlands?
talk about if we could modify the architecture to maybe even, roof mount them somewhere. We can screen it, we might be able to.
We still need to come back to deal with
We'll make it work.
the modified.
We'll make it work.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You need to come back for mitigation, I think, and to get this done. So,
Do we want to ask for a draft resolution? Do you feel that's something you could write up without seeing
I think so if it's a wetland permit,
an administrative?
and it's here, we have to have a public hearing. If we send it administrative, then we don't need a resolution. So I would instead aim to try to get this into a form where we can send it administrative.
Can I just say one more thing? So Kevin, the 1,185 square foot footprint that we show on our plan, 712 is the garage that we're sliding. So it's like 485 new, if you're going by.
Yeah, but there's a second story, right?
There is a
So-
second story,
So
right?
that's got to get counted.
Is it,
That gets counted towards the.
is it cumulative or just the footprint?
No, it's
I think it's the square footage, not the footprint, but I defer to the building
So
inspector.
you're gonna take your total gross floor area and you're gonna subtract out your existing garage, best case scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, if you break the 1,000 square feet, we're visiting health department.
Okay, we have a septic report, and it's 3-bedroom now, and it's 3-bedroom before, so
Yeah.
we're not in this. Okay.
Right, but it's just probably 12 months or 12
It's
weeks.
protocol, I understand.
Yes, hopefully not 12 months. Okay, thank you very much. So we will plan to see you again, and do I need to tell you, I didn't bring my submission date, is it, I do have it. No, that's 2026.
November 18th meeting.
You need to have something to us by October 28th, which is not very far from now. Good luck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Be
week.
flexible too, if it's just the mitigation.
Yeah, okay.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is calendar number 25-25WP and calendar number 11-25SW. This is the Blum Residence at 18 Cove Road, South Salem, New York. It's an application for an unheated 3-season room. Before we get started, I'm just going to disclose that I do know Neil and Karen Blum, that I'm sort of a neighbor. We've done some Three Lakes Council business together, but I don't believe that will in any way affect my ability to make a judgment on this matter, and so I do not intend to recuse myself. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Gene Vetrano. I am also with Site Design Consulting and Mimo Design. Joe is at another hearing in Yorktown. At any rate, I'm representing the Blums, Neil and Karen. I don't know if you had a site visit, but they have a deteriorating screened-in porch in the back of the house now. It's approximately 100 square feet. We're proposing to take that down along with the foundation that's below it. I think that's just a storage unit behind, below the existing screened-in porch. We propose to build a 3-season room that is 204 square feet. So we're increasing coverage by 104 square feet. With that, Jan sent his review comments to Kirsten on Thursday. We received them Friday, and I believe we addressed all of his concerns. We delineated the site access. We clearly delineated the 150-foot setback off of the lake.
Which covers all of the property, right?
Which covers all, yes. The 150 is actually in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything is within that setback. And we also, just to clean up the plans a little bit, we took some of the details that were on this sheet. We created a second sheet. We enlarged the footprint of the mitigation plan, and we added all the details that Jan was looking for. Again, we also took the architectural plan that had details on it, and we included those on one detail sheet. So basically, we covered the 4 or 5 issues that Jan was looking for. I think it was clarification and details. The only detail I see that's not on here, Jan, is the splash block. We'll do at the bottom of the leaders, we'll put a splash block on a clean stone bed. That detail's not on here.
What about your side yard setbacks there?
Well, so the side yard step back, I just spoke to Neil and Karen. I think that without disturbing the use of the space, if I take the stairs and put them back in the back of the unit, so they'll be rather than here, all right? We'll take that same footprint, put the stairs here, so that I'm not continuing this setback. That's the non-conforming side.
And at that point...
At that point, then, this setback
conforms to side yard.
Conforms to side yard, yep.
Yep, that was my one question, is it looked like there was a 12-foot setback, and it's
Right, so if I take the stairs and put them in the rear, then I have 14.6 plus the 10.6, that gives me 25.2. So I don't have an issue with the setback variance. I don't have any issues with coverage. And again, it's a non-conforming lot, which we certainly can't change.
No.
And non-conforming width.
And I just, so I noticed that there's a number of like septic indications in the front. Are those holding tanks or are there fields somewhere? What's?
They're holding tanks.
The holding tanks.
So Neil and Karen are both here. Neil will address it.
Certainly about 10, 12 years ago, my mother replaced the fields, which are no longer, the original tanks, I believe, were under the gravel driveway, and then the fields behind that, I believe, and now I believe there's a that goes out the front. I think there's a 1,000-gallon tank with two, I guess, leaching tanks off that, leaching pits off that. But that's in the front of the house, basically up by the road.
Okay, not anywhere near.
Not
And so
anywhere.
for the recording, that was Neil Blum?
No, that's
Okay.
the backside, and that's literally right up by
And the well is actually within the dirt basement.
the well is actually
It's under the house.
in the basement of the cottage.
Okay. Yep, an existing non-conforming. All right, so I think my major concern had been what was happening with the stairs. It sounds like that's been addressed.
Yeah, I discussed that with Neil and Karen both, and I think, when we'll redo the plans, we'll put the stairs in the back. It's not going to interfere with the view then, because obviously that's a concern. And you've been there, there's certainly plenty of vegetation. We propose to add another 120 square feet. No trees going to be disturbed. All the excavation will be hand dug.
Okay, yeah, because it's on posts,
Yeah,
right?
4 piers, yes.
Move this to administrative.
I would be willing to consider this admin. I'm looking for.
Yes.
Yep, so we need a motion to that effect?
I so move.
Okay.
Second.
And seconded by Bruce. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
Thank you all for your time, and I'll modify the plan, and then we'll get the application in for the building permit.
Great.
Thank you all so very much, I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for addressing the couple of questions that Jan had brought up. I think that's really helpful.
And again, we thank
Okay.
you for all this time. Thank you all.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is correspondence. It's the Copia Garden Center, calendar number 01-15 PB, calendar number 15-15 WP, calendar number 06-15 SW. And this is just a matter of correspondence. I'm going to ask Judd to discuss this.
Yes, give me 1 minute.
Sure.
My computer's not
Cooperating.
So this is correspondence that the town received from New York State Department of Ag and Markets. And it is a request by Ag and Markets to respond to, I won't call it a complaint, it's really a request that Ag and Markets undertake an inquiry of the town's zoning code and practices with regard as to whether they interfere with farming operations, to an extent that is to be discouraged under the Ag and Markets Law. Keep in mind, the Ag and Markets Law does not create any kind of blanket exemption from zoning. All it requires is that zoning ordinances and local zoning and planning practices do their best to give basically leeway to farming operations. So the underlying request was submitted by the Ciprianos, and looking at it, I think it's really, quite frankly, kind of misstates or misapprehends what happened.
Yeah.
The first thing that they specify as being something that should be looked at is that they were required to get a special use permit for the rented lot in the ag district from the zoning board by the building department. There was no special permit required for anything. There was a site plan approval that the board issued for the landscape nursery business on the Copia lot. The rented lot, if you read that resolution, we intentionally said, we're not addressing that, and Kevin has opined that that is permitted for the uses they're using it for now. So I don't understand. I think it's, a mistake or a misapprehension. Extending the duration of site plan completion and CO issuance requiring reapplication fees. I don't get where that comes from.
I believe that's because we did not accept an amendment to their site plan initially after that had lapsed for a couple of years.
Right. I mean, keep in mind the history of this thing.
Right.
So, right. And then a regulation of unloading and loading areas, that's part of the site plan review. Requiring insurance for town use. You'll recall that the site plan had a small area of town-owned property that was going to be utilized, basically for landscaping, and they needed to get a license agreement from the town. There was some back and forth between the town and the Ciprianos about insurance, but that ultimately was not in the license agreement. So I don't know if this is something that they threw in while that was still kind of going back and forth. And requiring tree removal permit when ag districts are exempt in town code. Again, there's no exemption.
So this letter had come to Tony and to Kirsten, I thought, because, and it has asked the town and the planning board to look at it. So I just wanted people to be aware that this letter exists. I defer to Judd about what I think we just see what the inquiry brings up.
Yeah, I think we sit and see what, if anything, the inquiry brings. I will talk again with Greg Luchetti about whether the town is going to formally respond. I had thought, I'm not sure, I thought initially that there was going to be at least some outreach to ag and markets to let them know the other side of the story, but I'll confirm that that's happening.
Yeah, as long as we give them what happened, so they have the tools.
Yeah.
Should we provide some background in writing from the planning board to the town board as to those statements made about our site plan approval?
That actually certainly is probably a good idea if you want to authorize Janet to, I can prepare a letter for Janet to submit to the town board.
Just to give them the history of the approval process we went through.
Do you think that should be, and this is a general question, because the letter came to both the town and the planning board, should we write to both ag and the town board, or just to the town board?
I'll defer to
town board
on that.
Let's go to the town board, and then if the town board, I think if we do that, then the town board can share our letter
Okay.
directly with ag and markets. Yeah.
So I think that takes a motion.
I so move.
I'll second it.
You'll second. Any questions, further discussion? You look hesitant, Bruce.
I'm just having a hard time following this. It's been around for a long time, I believe, and I'm confused. I don't know.
I think that's why actually this letter is a really good idea, to have put the facts down.
Give them the tools.
And state it, because I think a lot of people feel like it's been moving, but I think my sense is that we moved, the real requirement from ag and markets is that we move expeditiously, and we did once we had a full application, no?
An application came in, we turned this around in how many meetings? 1, 2? I think it was 1 meeting.
And made many accommodations.
Yes.
So I think, okay, so we have a motion, we have a second on the letter.
And they have a site plan?
They have a site plan, they are currently constructing.
They're totally approved and either about to start or have started construction.
And there's agreement and they're going to do it, they're going to execute it?
Yeah, I've been working with the
they
contractor on materials. And,
Okay, fine.
So they're moving forward.
Okay.
It just says, I don't know when we received it, the letter's dated September 18th, does it matter?
Yeah, we can contact them. It's all of them, they're not going to be doing it.
They're already building everything.
Is it possible there's a basis of, for litigation in that letter?
Pardon?
Is there a basis for litigation?
By New York State?
By the...
Or by the...
Copia.
By Copia?
For...
I don't see any credible claim by the Ciprianos under the Ag and Markets Law or...
I think we should do the latter.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion, we have a second. I guess if, any other questions or concerns? So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, thank you, Judd. The other thing, while we're talking about unclear, would you like to mention Walkabout Country Club? Would you like to mention Walkabout Country Club?
Oh.
He's going to say he's got a blank stare on him with that one.
Yes, yeah.
The beach facility.
The beach, yeah. You'll recall there was a request made to the ZBA to reopen the variance, or the variance relief that they granted to the beach club. They denied it. There was an Article 78 proceeding commenced by two property owners contesting that determination. That litigation was dismissed earlier this month, so it's over with.
And the appeal date is November 7th.
November 7th or 8th?
7th or 8th. So, you know, so that could be...
The appeal,
So...
To be determined.
To be determined, but I thought it was... the town made a motion for summary judgment, and it wasn't, to my view, quite so summary, but it happened eventually, it got there. So, took several months, 6.
That's the way things happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Okay, the next item on our agenda is a discussion. This is calendar number 27-25WP, the Cool Meadow at 10 Deer Run, South Salem, New York. So there is this is an application for deer-resistant meadow, but there was a stop work order. We got some correspondence on this. My understanding, talking to Jan, is that there was never a wetland violation issued or anything. And we did get some correspondence directly. I guess I really need to explain that we only really work as a board when we meet, and we only meet once a month. So there's not really feedback or anything that goes. But we have received an application. My understanding is that there's nothing that triggers this to come in front of the...
Yeah, I'll just give you a little
Go ahead.
history. I think I have my facts correct. We had received an environmental questionnaire for a driveway. Are you the owner?
Yes.
Okay, so you can nod your heads if I'm correct or say I'm wrong. So you had submitted an environmental questionnaire for driveway relocation. We reviewed that. At the time, it was outside of the wetland buffer and didn't trigger a stormwater permit, so we basically said no action needed on our end. I guess they started construction on the driveway. I think there was some activity also taking place in the rear yard. They graded off the rear yard. A complaint was made. Building department issued a stop work order. We told them they needed a wetland permit now because this additional work was in the wetland buffer. They retained Glenn Ticehurst to prepare a plan. They submitted an application which was received, I think, deemed complete on the 17th of October. Now we're going to review and issue an administrative wetland permit to correct the activity. So in our view, it didn't kind of rise to the level of meeting a wetland violation. We thought we can correct it. They were willing to correct it. And it didn't trigger the need for a planning board application. So this will all be handled administratively through my office. We now have the complete application as of the 17th, so we'll review it. And you'll have your wetland permit, and that will be Have a good day.
And I think another part of the request to us was to lift a portion of the stop work order, but that's not, that's all, that's not us, that's not the planning board, that's all going to Kevin. So it's hard, so I think you don't need to come back to us, you'll just go with Jan. And as far as any activity, you need to talk to the building inspector to,
I could just, so we're all clear, so we're all sitting here. Now that the application, Jan has it, I'll have him do at least a preliminary review. If it's substantially there, then we'll go from there and lift it. If he thinks there's still delinquent stuff.
Are you doing work on the inside of the house too?
Oh, yeah, there was a whole renovation of the inside of the house.
So between us, I don't have any objection to the stop work order being lifted on the inside. I can tell you that now.
Or the driveway would be.
Yeah, and like the stuff that's outside the buffer,
Right.
continue. I need to take a look at the stuff that's inside the buffer, which we just got the application on, and, we'll review it this week or next. And you'll be
The
on your
propane tank is kind of the biggie, because it's going to get cold.
Okay. The propane tank's being buried, or it's above ground?
Yeah, it's being buried. It's in the driveway area, so.
Okay. So I just have to take a look to see if that's in the buffer or not. Is that included on Glenn's plan, the LP tank?
It's actually not on the plan.
Okay. So if that's in the buffer, that's something that needs a permit, so that needs to be included.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll review the plan, I'll get in touch with Glenn, and we'll get it straightened out.
Okay.
so I know our process is a little opaque, but, you don't really, it hadn't risen to the level of the planning board, and we were kind of like, what do we do with this?
Bernie and I know, and Tara know, we all know each other through our kids going through scouts and all that stuff together. And once the stop work order came in, he was like, what do I do now? So he reached out to me, and I said, just let everybody know. That's the easiest way to get this moving, because you're dealing with the timeline of the weather change.
Right, okay. So I think we have where we're going now? Everything's good? And if in doubt, always talk to Kirsten, because she's controls the strings we all dance to. So, okay. All right, so thank you for that. Now, the other thing is we have a copy of the proposed meeting dates for...
So I think they're all set, right?
Oh, yeah, you guys are all set. So you'll talk with Jan, you'll get okay. Okay, so if everyone would look at this, I think we usually do adopt the calendar, right? So we would look to adopt it presumably next month. So I'd like any feedback to Kirsten before that, so we know if it's okay or not. Look for a motion to approve the minutes of September 16th, 2025.
I so move.
I'll second it.
Okay, Paul and John, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Our next meeting date is November 18th, 2025. Look for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I so move.
Seconded by Bruce. And we're adjourning at 9:03. All in favor? Aye.
No, I got enough paperwork.